You want a glass?
Please.
Got a clean one?
Yeah, that's fine.
There you go.
I'm only drinking it because I'm supposed to have more fluids.
You don't need to explain anything to me.
Beer is a fluid.
There's which,
Beer is a fluid.
yeah, but it hasn't filled my sock up yet. I have to wear this every day.
Yeah.
Change it at night for one. It just hangs down from the bed.
Fair enough. So, in what year did you go back to London?
1949 or
And how-
48.
48. And you said that Joyce's mother died in 51.
Yeah, about 50, yeah.
And Dad was born in 55 and you moved back here in
57. 56, 57, I don't know.
57 because Mom was pregnant with Kathy and she was born in October of 57.
56. Yeah, Halloween.
October 56. Yes.
She was born in 56.
Yes.
I thought
I
she
got
was
promoted.
I thought she was more than a year younger than you.
She is
Oh,
a year and a
almost
half
2.
younger
That's
than
right.
me. Yeah.
Okay.
Mom and Dad also had 2 babies that didn't live.
Stillborn or?
In 1947 we had one, and one in 1949 in England.
Were they stillborn?
No.
No. Nobody knows for sure what the cause was, but the doctor put it down to hemorrhagic fever of the newly born.
The first baby was a boy,
I don't know. First baby, I know the second one was a boy.
and the first one was a girl.
Didn't see it.
No.
I saw the second one.
So the
Second one
first.
came home.
Really?
Oh, he's quite sick?
No, it was never sick. Stayed in the hospital, died 3 days afterwards.
Okay.
North.
Sad.
But it was a spitting image of what John looked like.
Yeah. So in 56 he came back to Alberta?
Yep, right to Edmonton. Stayed there for a year and a half and went to Vancouver.
So you joined the military when you got back?
Did I which?
You joined the military again?
No, I was in the army. I was in the police. Then I joined the army in England. And I got stationed in London for 4 years.
Oh, okay. I missed that one. So what year did you join the British Army?
I never
No.
been in the British Army.
No, he joined the Canadian Army
In
and
Britain.
served overseas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what year did you join up again?
52.
And you're posted in London until 56.
Almost 56. Sometime in 56.
Okay. And then you were posted back to Edmonton in 56
Yep.
until...
Then went and got promoted to sergeant.
Oh, so what did you join up as? A lance?
Corporal.
Corporal. Okay. And was this in the Provo at this point, or?
Yep.
So you joined as a Provo Marshal.
No.
Nope, Provo.
Provo. Period.
Just Provo.
In Corporal and Provo.
Provo
Corps.
What's the
Marshal
difference?
is head one.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So Provo Corps.
Went to Vancouver.
Corporal. So in Vancouver, went to Vancouver in
57.
57.
57.
Stayed in Vancouver
And
until
you
61.
You worked out of Jericho.
Yep. 1961, then I got posted to Calgary as the provost sergeant of the Strathcona Force.
So you're promoted to sergeant when you moved back to Edmonton, or?
Yep. Short while afterwards.
Just 57, promoted to sergeant. And what did you do in Vancouver?
I was just a detachment NCO, and I was doing SIS work too.
SIS?
Special investigations.
And-
Super smooth.
And so you moved to Calgary in 61
Yep.
until
Till
64.
What
64?
was it, or 5?
64, I had my 10th birthday
That's it.
in a motel in Angus in 1965, January 65.
So 61 to 64, it was Calgary. And what did you do in Calgary?
I was a provost sergeant with an armored regiment.
Strathcona.
Strats. Provost Sergeant was LDSA.
Strathcona's.
And did you work at the detention barracks as well in Calgary?
No, I worked in. No, I had my own.
You had your own.
Well, the
You're in
guard.
charge of the guardhouse.
Oh, the guardhouse. And what was?
That was the SRC.
Yeah, that's the same time as this. So 61 to 64.
That was
Yes.
all part of the job.
Okay.
The disciplinary unit. I was the discipline for the unit.
Okay. At Camp Sarcy.
But you also did investigations, did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Court martials, all that kind of.
No, I was doing, and you were doing murder investigations and stuff like that in Calgary.
Yeah. Not there was a shooting. Yeah.
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 Murder investigations. Wow.
Then I went to Borden and I was straight SIS.
And
Moved
so
to
that
Borden
in 64.
65 until 69.
5 to 69 was
And
Camp
that's when I
Borden.
got my next promotion and transfer. I was transferred to SIS.
So you were promoted to WO1 or WO2 at that point?
Oh, W.
Oh, okay. Promoted to WO in 65. And you were SIS there
Yeah.
exclusively?
I stayed in there and I counted the days. I knew exactly how many days I needed. But I
20,
missed
25 and a
I
breath.
guessed wrong. Because I wound up with 25 years, 1 month, and 11 days too many.
So did you teach it all at the school there?
No, I stayed away from school. Didn't like the school people.
So the guardhouse in Calgary, like what exactly was that?
It was a straight guard room for locking people up.
Oh, so just like a cell, like a set of cells, or
Oh, there were cells in it, yeah.
so is it like a short-term facility, like
Well,
like a drunk tank?
Depends. Depends on how long they got sentenced to, and then if they were sentenced to any length of time, they went to Edmonton.
Because when did the detention barracks open in Edmonton?
57.
Okay, so everything would have been sent there.
Yep.
Anything
The
longer
major,
than
major stuff.
Except Calgary. Calgary had their own before then.
yeah.
Blueberry Hill.
So how long would you have to be sentenced to get sent to Edmonton? Like how long of a sentence could they serve at the guardhouse?
It's not quite the same as a civilian life,
Yeah.
but normally 28 days would have been a good sentence to go.
So anything more than that would have gone.
No, you'd have stayed there. It was a penitentiary.
In Calgary.
Edmonton, in the detention barracks
Yeah.
are set up separate from any other unit. They are a
Yeah.
unit of their own. And you can do, some of them were doing 5-10 years there.
Yeah. Now it's the max sentence there now is 2 years less a day.
Well, it's the same as in civilian life.
Yeah. So how long could a person serve, like if they were court-martialed or punished? How long could they stay at the guardhouse before they had to go to
Oh, no,
Edmonton?
I kept them for 14 days.
14 days max. Like what were the normal offenses that you caught people for?
Drunkenness, AWOLs, disobedience, just general screw up.
Nothing changes, does it? And what were some of the more serious cases that you saw?
In Calgary?
Yeah.
Well, somebody stole my Jeep and killed themselves.
Oh, stole your Jeep.
Yeah. It was on patrol and they got out to check a building and these two drunks stole it and killed themselves, which I thought was a fitting punishment.
But that was by accident. It wasn't suicide. They drove the damn thing
Yeah.
into a.
Then I had theft were the main thing.
Yeah. Theft of what?
Oh, I had a guy steal the adjutant's Jeep in Wainwright. But I got him the next day,
Yeah.
and he did 40 days. But that, you know, just normal military crimes.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, nothing changes. It's the exact same stuff. Being drunk, AWOL, or disobedient is kind of the same stuff that people pulling now.
Yeah. I talked myself out of getting beat up a couple of times.
Yeah.
We have one guy there, he stood about 6'7", and he had muscles anywhere you wanted to look. And he used to drink Tiny Dixon.
What's
And
that?
he used to get so drunk, and then he'd get mean. As long as you left him alone with his Galoola wine, he was all right. So I got called out to him one night in the barracks, and he said, "If you come near me, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." I said, "Who am I?" "You're the provost sergeant." "Good. Then in that case, you can't plead drunkenness. You recognize who I am. And if you strike me, you're not just fighting, you're striking an NCO. And that's how it'll read the charge, and you go down for a lot longer. Now give me the wine and go to bed." That was cunning. That was sneaky,
Yeah.
but it worked.
It does. So were there any really serious crimes when
No.
you were in Calgary? Nothing.
Anything that would have gone to the detachment
Yeah. Where was the detachment?
in Calgary.
Okay.
In fact, there was a provost sergeant at the Queen's Own Barracks.
Queen's Own Rifles?
Yeah.
In Curry.
Where's Curry?
Curry Barracks, north of Cersei.
Oh, okay.
That's when it's still rural. It's near where the museum is, right? The museum
Yeah,
of Calgary.
museum, yeah.
Museum of the Regiments.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Curry.
Which I've never
Okay.
seen.
It's not bad, actually.
They moved a lot of it up here.
Yeah.
Well, there's no point keeping it in Calgary.
Fair enough. So when you went to Borden, what were your main duties there?
Detachment NCO first,
Of
And we
which detachment?
the Borden
The,
detachment.
so okay, the whole Provo. Okay.
Then I got posted to the SIS. The day I got posted there was 4 men on the detachment. The next day there was me. The other 3 had all got posted out.
Oh my God. So what kind of stuff would SIS investigate?
Any crime. Except murder, manslaughter, and crimes, I forget what they use the terms for, but those we had to hand over to the OPP.
Okay.
But I handled deaths, sudden deaths.
Jeez Louise, 3-0. Yeah, go ahead.
That's okay.
Okay. So anything, but I know now if you like are a military member and you commit a serious crime that you'll be punished on the civilian side as well as on the military side.
Yeah,
Is it the same way?
it used to be, yeah.
Yeah.
I took more goddamn cases down to Barrie Court. Even the juvenile court, I had to go appear there a couple of times.
Why the juvenile court?
Well, the soldiers had committed a crime involving a juvenile.
Okay.
Or you had juveniles on the base that were committing crimes.
Yeah, well, yeah, those, yeah.
Breaking
They're a
in.
bunch of little bastards.
Yeah,
Sure.
some of our friends. Not me, but some of our friends. They had military ordnance hidden in their houses and under their steps, and
And they walked around with an air rifle in their hands, which you were allowed to do.
Yeah, I got caught.
nailed.
I got
Thank
caught
God
for
you
that.
got nailed by my best friend.
Yeah. I was going for a sleepover in a guy's place. What was his name? Brian William. They lived about 4 or 5 houses up from us on 14th Street, and his dad had retired and moved out, and I got invited out to their place in the country, and I brought my pellet gun, and I was waiting for a ride out by the library in London, and here I got my overnight bag and his gun. Brilliant.
Verboten.
Yeah. So you couldn't repellent guns? Those were illegal?
You couldn't take or even
Not carried around.
Oh, okay. So you were in Borden until, what was it, 60?
69.
69. And then when? Then what happened?
I went to Peace River.
Retired.
You retired in 69?
Yeah.
And you moved to Peace River. And you worked for the Ombuds office for a while, didn't you?
Oh, I was in the Ombudsman's office for 17 years.
So was that, in 69 did you?
No, between 69 to 70, I was working in the jail at Peace River.
Oh, okay. They must have loved you.
They did?
I was very popular, as a matter of fact.
Oh, I
as a
bet.
prisoner. No, because you couldn't deal with them like you did with the soldiers.
Yeah?
Yeah, they were all very peaceful and quiet with me. So a lot of the young guys who were working in there wanted to punish
Yeah.
me. I thought, hell, they're better off than I am. They're getting 3 square meals a day and no work.
Didn't have to deal with a bunch of teenagers. It's all good.
And so in 70,
I applied and I was third out of about 500 applicants.
for,
And
I investigated from the ombudsman.
it is an investigator of the ombudsman.
George B. McClellan.
And
this is the military ombudsman?
oh
No.
no!
Provincial.
Oh, for the provincial ombudsman. Okay.
That was a prestigious job. It was a career.
Yeah, sure.
You wouldn't have taken it. Not with the pay they gave at the time.
No, but I would. They had an opening I was considering applying for in the summer
Yeah.
this year.
So,
The pay is better now, Deb.
Yeah. It had to be. You couldn't get anybody for what we worked for.
but in 69 you went to Cyprus, didn't you?
67.
67.
67. Oh, I thought it said 69.
No.
So in 67,
I was still in Borden and I got detached and went to Cyprus for 6 months.
and what did you do in Cyprus?
SIS work.
Still.
Yeah.
And what were you investigating there? Well,
You've got
Turks, Greeks.
Swedes, Danes, Finns, Irish, English, Canadian, Australian, and New Zealanders.
Swedes, Dane, Finn, Canadian, Australian,
Yeah.
New Zealand,
Irish.
Irish.
British.
Put them together and
Okay.
what kind of crimes you're going to have.
So it was all internal. So it was only military
UN.
UN. Okay.
UN, yep.
UN investigations.
I had more suicides there than I ever had in my life before.
Military suicides.
Yep.
How many? Do you know approximately?
6,
6 suicides.
one a month.
What were the causes?
Boredom.
Really?
In Cyprus. Can you
And
imagine?
the heat, especially with the Scandinavians,
Were you there in the summer?
yeah.
Yeah.
Figures. And so where were you stationed in Cyprus?
Nicosia.
Nicosia. And what was your thought of Cyprus at the time?
I didn't think too much of Cyprus. Guess we didn't have too much to do with the civilians anyway. So we thought they were greasy looking logs. And we, used to do a bit of business with the Turks.
Yeah.
And, whatever business you did. But most of the time you stayed in the mess.
Was it quite violent at the time?
They were.
The Turks or the Greeks or both?
Both.
Against each other.
Like, what kind of stuff would they do to each other?
They blew each other up and shot each other, killed each other. Yeah.
And just daily or?
Sometimes. Then after I left, the next thing was the Turks invaded and took the bloody place over.
Is that in '68 that happened?
No, is that what I forget? I don't know what it was.
69, 70.
It made quite a thing of it.
The Turks invaded.
Now there's the independent Republic of Turkish Cyprus that nobody else recognizes except the Turks.
Well, the funny thing is that now Cyprus is the R&R point.
It's a good place to rest up, yeah.
Well, it's the military,
D-mob.
yeah, part of the military's thought for taking troops out of overseas. Because before you'd be on a troop ship home and it would take you weeks to get there, so you had a little time to kind of get it out of your system. Whereas to other more recent tours before Afghanistan, but like Bosnia,
Yeah.
you'd be pulled out of the field and sent home. You'd be home in
We
24
used to have
hours.
the same thing, especially after Egypt.
Yeah,
It was called the drying out period.
yeah. So same thing. And now it's Cyprus. That's the drying out. And so when were you in Egypt?
Didn't go to
It
Egypt.
was me in Egypt.
I thought you said we were in.
No, it was like Egypt.
Oh, it was like Egypt. Sorry.
Egypt was like Cyprus, sure.
Yeah. So now the troops pulled out of Afghanistan, spend a week in Cyprus, and they go. They sit down and.
Well, they can drink there. They couldn't drink in Afghanistan.
No, you can't have. Well, occasionally they'll get like a beer or something.
Chicken shit army they're running.
Well, that's more in respect to the local customs, because
No, it isn't.
well, that's what they've said.
Uh-uh.
Because in Bosnia they had 2 beer a day.
Yeah. Yeah, but the other units can have whatever you can get. Like the Brits,
Oh yeah.
French.
Okay. So you came back from Cyprus
Yep.
in '67, and just went back to your job, the normal SIU stuff.
Yep. Stayed there till I counted the days and was out.
Okay, and so in 1970 you worked as the investigator for the provincial ombudsman, and you stayed there until.
86.
That's right. I remember your retirement party for that one.
Yep.
And for the ombud, what kind of investigations were you doing?
Anything complaining against provincial government departments. It's like your dad doing complaints against Alberta Healthcare, right?
Yep.
What was the most interesting case you saw?
Oh hell, there's so many of them.
Really?
One that I would tell you about. I got a pension for a woman in Russia who had never been to Canada. I got a backlog pension of $10,000 for her.
Wow. How is she eligible for a pension?
Well, in those days, her husband had emigrated in the 20s or 30s from the Ukraine. And in those days, you brought over maybe 1 or 2 of your children. That's what he could afford. Well, he brought 1 or 2 over. I got all the money. And he got killed working on the railroad. And nobody ever told her, the woman, the family, that they were entitled to a pension.
Oh.
So they wrote to me and I worked on it. Took some time, but I got her a $10,000 back pension and a pension for the rest of her life.
Wow. She must have been pleased.
We'll never know.
But cases like that,
You did a lot of WCB
yeah.
work.
Well, that's what this one was.
You were the go-to guy for WCB
Geez, I'm gonna have to get Sean to
Appeals.
call you on that one.
for a while. ago.
No, you gotta find out if you're eligible.
Well, he should be, but they're telling him he's
Should
not.
not.
Yeah, I know.
Don't say should, you say is or not.
Well, he was injured at the workplace, but they said they're not gonna
Depends,
pay.
like, there's a clause here. If you're a janitor in a high rise, you're covered.
Yeah,
If you're a janitor in a walk-up, you're not.
you're mentioning that.
So,
No, he was working on a movie set, and then there was a big explosion, and he got lit on fire. So he has
then
first
you
and
have to find out who's covered,
yeah,
and you can't take it both ways. You can't sue an insurance company and the compensation board.
yeah. No, I can't. So did you enjoy working for the ombuds office?
Oh, I did, yep. It was a career.
Yeah. So if you had to do it all over again, would you do any of it differently?
Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking about, at the end, I'm comfortable. I've got, the family is comfortable. What else could I have done? The only one change I might have made, if I had been a little older, I would never have left the Edmonton City Police. I would have stayed.
Yeah.
But as Peter can tell you too, I guess when you first joined and you're on a beat cop, it's a boring job. Am I right, Pete?
You're right.
But then, see, now you'd have changes. Here they didn't in those days.
Yeah.
That's me in a nutshell.
That's pretty much, yeah, well, that's
Big nutshell.
big hell of a
Big
nutshell.
Big nut, big shell.
Oh, okay. Put the paper down for a little bit. I'll pause this guy.